Some great music to kickstart your Tuesday morning. Right now, though, onto matters of faith. And with current estimates that roughly 1 in 5 people in the world are now atheist or non-religious, the relevance of religion in our lives in the 21st century has come into question. And one man who is attempting to bring about a comeback in our faith, world-renowned public speaker, author, and the founder of the Passion Movement, Louis Giglio, is on a mission to bring people back to God. And he joins us in studio this morning, promoting, of course, his Passion World Tour. Louis, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Shake that hand of yours. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
This is great, man. Great news. You know what? It is sad. I mean, we're living in such a fast-paced modern life, and the advancements of science, people becoming more materialistic. It's sad that religion is coming into question. Why are we at this point?
Yeah, well, you know, I think if you turn those statistics around, 1 in 5 people say they're an atheist or don't have a need for religion, but that must mean 4 in 5 people actually are leaning towards God and want to see something bigger in their lives. And so I think that's the story, A.
Yeah.
But speaking of those other people, it may be that they just got dissatisfied with a system, with a bunch of rules or regulation. But I think people are still looking for meaning. What's the bigger story? It's got to be something bigger than where I'm going to eat tonight, bigger than my friends, bigger than my job, bigger than the weather. Yeah. And I think people are still looking for that because we have that God stamp inside of each one of us. And I think people aren't turning off hope for meaning. Maybe they just turned off a system that was a bunch of rules and regulations that they never really understood in the first place.
Maybe, and I think being human as well, we tend to question everything, you know, especially, you know, with sciences and the findings that we do recently, you know, sending things to other planets. You know, we naturally question these things, and I think that's also a reason why religion kind of suffers because of that. Now, tell me a bit about your book, The Comeback. Yeah, what is that all about?
The Comeback is about this beautiful idea that none of us go too far and none of us do too much. That God's mercy, grace, and love can't find us where we are, turn us around, put us back on our feet, and get us going in the direction that He intended for our lives. It's an incredible story. I share some of my own crashes in life. 2008, a big crash with anxiety, depression that put me out of commission for a few months in life. So I'm not writing this as some like expert pastor. I'm writing as a guy who had a comeback, that God led me back into the light again. And there are other amazing stories of hope for people, because everybody today is either in a storm, they're just coming out of a storm, or they're going into a storm. And we all want to know that hope of God that can bring us back into the light again.
That's it. And I look at a lot of people also excited to see you in action and just hear your message. You're here to promote your Passion World Tour that's going to be taking place in Feb next year, both up in Pretoria at Loftus and down here at the Cape Town Stadium. So what can people expect from the Passion World Tour? And if they want to find out in terms of, you know, how they can go about attending one of these conferences, how would they do that?
Well, I hope they hear about it through their church, because we're here meeting with pastors and leaders all over South Africa, spreading the word. We need a lot of participation from the whole church to make these events amazing. But passionconferences.com is where people can also get more information. It's going to be an amazing night of worship, teaching. I'm going to speak there, but Israel Houghton's going to be leading worship, the Passion Band, Christian Stanfield, and Chris Tomlin, who's this fairly well-known, world-renowned Christian artist. And it's a night of uniting the church, strengthening the church, breathing hope for the cities and hope for South Africa. And we're excited. Only 3 cities in the world have we been to 3 times. Vancouver, Manila, and now Cape Town. So we're pretty excited about being back in this city. We love this place.
I love it. I love also the fact that you said the hope for South Africa, because, I mean, everything is not lost, you know, until hope's gone. You know, we always want some hope. While we have you, Louis, what would be your message this morning, you know, just to reach out to our viewers this morning? I mean, just taking a look at the modern day in life and where we stand today.
Well, I think here's the thing. All of us want to know deep down, who are we and why are we here? And those questions are wrapped up in the beauty of our Creator, and He's made a glorious day. When you come to Cape Town on a day like today, when you're in South Africa and see the beauty of this nation, you know there's a God. You know there's a genius Creator behind it all. But every person watching today has a genius Creator behind them. They're a unique, original, God-designed, beautiful creation. And God has a mission for them and a purpose for their lives today. And that purpose is bigger than anything we usually dream or imagine. Sin, the enemy, darkness, all that wants to shrink us down to some little bitty reason for life. And God wants to breathe into us again today. You've got destiny inside of you. You've got God dreams woven into your life. So look to Him today. Open your heart today. Begin again today with God, and trust Him for His purposes and plans. They're better than anything this world can bring us.
You just got to sit back and let your destiny unfold and let it happen.
Well, you know, God is in charge of everything.
That's it.
And I love this book because all of our stories aren't easy. All of our journeys aren't easy. Life isn't easy. We're living in a broken world. But God is bigger than all of that. The cross shows us He's bigger than all of that. He can take the worst and make it into the best. And if we just keep putting our life in His hands, day by day, He will do the rest. And He will use our lives in ways that will blow our minds, not just for our good, but for the good of the people around us and for His glory. That's really what it's all about in the end.
Awesome stuff, man. And quickly, where can people get a hold of your book?
They can get it at Come Books, and they have a website, comebooks.co.za.
Yes.
Is a great place to find it, and it's going to be hopefully in retailers all over the country, maybe in the next day or so.
All right, perfect. Louis, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and all the best with the rest of your stay down here in South Africa.
Thank you
really
so much,
appreciate you
man.
coming through this morning. Of course, Louis, here to promote his Passion World Tour that's taking place next year. Of course, if you want to get those details, you can log on to our website as well, expressoshow.com. Love you to have Louis in studio. Let's find out what is still ahead on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.